Hello warriors, Nile Harris here. I'm about to share with you 5 things that you need to do to protect your website. 5 very simple things. If you're a solopreneur, you want to listen to these 5 things you need to do today to protect your website. Take it from me. Hi, I'm Nile Harris, a life strategist, business consultant, and speaker and educator, working with aspiring entrepreneurs and professionals to transform their passion and purpose into profit by managing their business like a boss. I'm sharing with you 5 things that you need to do if you manage your own website, 5 things that you need to do right now after this video is over to protect your website. But before I get started, please take a moment to like my YouTube channel, subscribe, turn on the alerts so you know when I post new content, and join me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at I am Nile Harris, and LinkedIn at Nile Harris to get everyday tips from me on being things that you can implement and being inspired, and things that you can just, get a little learning from. 5 things that you need to do to protect your website if you are a solopreneur, you don't have the budget to hire a web person just yet. So let me tell you what happened, how the inspiration for this video. There I am, sitting, minding my own business. It was a learning day, so I was actually listening in on a online virtual conference, great content. And like I said, I'm minding my own business, an alert pops up on my phone. Bing! And I read it quickly, but I get the gist that my website had just been wiped clean, like off the face of the earth. And at first I thought it was spam. It was from my site host. And at first I thought it was spam because it said, click here. And I'm like, no, I'm not clicking there. So I go to my website. I bring it up in a separate browser rather than click on that link because that could have been dangerous. And my website was gone. My stomach dropped. Like I'm pretty sure my spirit left my body and was looking at me from the ceiling like, girl, your website's gone. Don't worry. Spirit came back into my body and I addressed it. And I'm sharing with you 5 things that you need to do to protect your website. I want you right now to invest in an anti-spam service. If you I use WordPress. I've been using WordPress now for 10 years. WordPress actually sent me a little message congratulating me on my 10-year anniversary. Thank you, WordPress. It's been a journey. But get an anti-spam, and that basically will protect you from people trying to put stuff in the comments. If you run a blog, you might find like this is something that you deal with. WordPress, people, if you have any space where people can leave comments, people might come by and spam you. So invest in a very simple anti-spam service. Now, because I use WordPress, I use Jetpack, and I'm not affiliated with them. It's just integrated into WordPress, and so it was an easy enough investment. But you decide. There are plenty of tools out there. It's not expensive at all, but make that investment. Number 2, keep software and plugins updated. WordPress people, raise your hand. You know what I'm talking about. I do not turn on automatic updates for plugins for WordPress. So because I want to make sure that plugin is compatible with the latest version of WordPress. But it doesn't matter what you use, right? Like if you're using Squarespace or Wix or whatever you're using, they're going to keep their platform updated. That's not an issue. But you might have third-party integrations that you have coming in, like maybe you have an integration with Zapier or IFTTT or MailChimp, or you have some sort of integration. You want to make sure all of your integrations or any third-party software that you're using is always up to date, because hackers will use any vulnerabilities in those software services to get into your website and deposit malicious code, which is what happened to me. Scan for threats. Number 3. Now you may be asking, Nile, if you use a service to scan for threats, how did a threat get on your website? I don't know. But I will find out. However, scanning for threats. Again, I use Jetpack, and just so we're clear, Jetpack did pick up the malicious code. But the scan for threats will basically scan your entire database of information for malicious code, for any risks, by the way. So it's not just reactive, it's also proactive. So it's looking for any risks. So a lot of times I'll get like a weekly report that says this plugin is out of date, or you haven't used these 3 plugins in 2 months. Do you still need them? If not, delete them. So you just want a tool like that that's going to, help keep that stuff in line. Number 4, protect against brute force attacks. Brute force attacks are people trying to figure out your login, get into your website, wreak havoc. So again, like I said, because I use WordPress, Jetpack is just a nice integration. It does all of this for me. There are other tools out there. I'm not advocating for or against Jetpack. I'm just telling you what I use because I'm a solopreneur. I don't have a webmaster or web maintenance person, so take it from somebody who's also figuring this out. But I have always invested in this sort of level of protection. Number 5 thing that you need to do after this video is over: back up your website. So when I got that email telling me that my website was gone, and I went and saw that my website was gone, all I had to do was log in to my backup that I use with CodeGuard, which is integrated into Bluehost, which is the site provider, or the site host. And I clicked the button, and boom, I'm not and that was it. And it took a few hours, don't get me wrong, it took a few hours to restore the database. Jetpack let me know where the malicious code was. It was very easy for me to go in and remove the offending file on my own. I was back up and running. So I'll put those resources that I just talked about down below in the comments or description. But feel absolutely free to do some research on your own. CodeGuard costs me $3 a month. Like I said, Jetpack I think costs me $12 a month. Inexpensive investments. But imagine if I had not spent $3 a month, I would be rebuilding my website from scratch right now. From scratch. Okay, so, oh, and by the way, I back up daily, every day. There's a backup right there. So, that's it. Those are the 5 things that you need to be doing to protect your website until you start making so much money in so much abundance because you've managed your business like a boss, until you can outsource this to a webmaster who will make sure all of your your CSSs, your XMLs, and all of that is protected and beautiful and wonderful. These are things that you can do right now. Again, check down below for the resources I named, but you can easily do a Google search to see what integrates with your platform. And by the way, if you're using like a Squarespace and all of that just double check and make sure you have backups, that you have all of that as part of your package with those websites, right? Because they might offer it in a tier service. So be sure that you have at least these 5 protections, okay? So if this was helpful for you, I would love it if you would share this in your community and like it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have more great content and tips for you at I am Nile Harris on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, check me out on LinkedIn so we can connect.